and welcome to Real Talk with Yvette. I am so excited to be here today, and I'll tell you why in a second. I'm very blessed and honored to have a gentleman here today he's an author, a comedian, he doesn't like to admit that, an actor, and above all for me, he is like a breath of fresh air. Every time I see this man, he has something profound to say, and he's funny to top it off. So today I would like to welcome my lovable friend, Mr. Gregg Oreo.
Well, thank you,
Gregg.
Thank you. It's the first time I've been compared to an air freshener, fresh air. But and you're always a pleasure to bump into as well.
Thank you.
We work together.
Yes, we do.
And about 2 days a week I get to see you, and we have nice conversations. And you said, why don't we do this in front of a camera someday? And I thought you meant a little Kodak Instamatic, but you dragged me. Now
you should know me better.
Yes.
You know me.
Yes.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm just so happy that you and I could be here together.
I'm glad to be here.
And hopefully people who will be watching can benefit from your wisdom.
Well, I'm eager to hear what you have to say about food for thought.
Well, food for thought is exactly that. You know, we talk about it all the time when we're together one-on-one. And the reason I brought you here today is because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to talk to someone like you on a daily.
Well, and a lot of people, sadly, don't have an opportunity to speak at any great depth. You know, how you doing? Fine. How are the children? Fine. And then we move on. And we really, I think the good thing about people like Oprah and even Jerry Springer and other programs are that they do bring into conversation what we want to talk about. We're curious what other people think, but those people are safe because they're on the other side of the glass, and we don't have to let down our guard. So to have a friend, male or female, that we can spend time with and talk about values. Water seeks its own level. That's one of my favorite quotes. Water seeks its own level.
Water seeks its own level?
Yes, it means that people will find people who are almost like them. When I was in the U.S. Army, all the beer drinkers found the beer drinkers. All the chess players found the chess players. There was even one guy who was a barbershop quartet fellow, good old Gary Lee Wilbur. He, for some reason, would go out and find barbershop quartet singing people. So water does seek its own level.
In other words, we attract who we are?
Boy, don't we ever. Yeah.
Ooh,
so,
I feel good about that.
And here's another great quote, too, and it's very arresting. The quote is, we become who our friends are. So if I don't like who I am, I better start watching the people that I hang out with. And Yvette, if you want to become healthier, hang out with healthier people. You want to become smarter, hang out with smarter people. You want to become wealthier, hang out with wealthy people.
It's that simple.
Well, otherwise, what's the alternative? And there's a wonderful quote, too, that a dear lady friend, I admire her so much, Dorothy Mitchell, she said, I would rather be alone and healthy than to be with someone else who's sick. And we're not talking physical sickness.
Sure.
And to a degree, all of us are a little ill. But,
no kidding.
You know, who do you want to be with? Do you want to be with healthy people, happy people, robust people, persevering people? And I made 3 New Year's resolutions. I will use his first name.
Okay.
But I resolved 3 things. 1, I wasn't going to eat any sugar in the year 2008.
Oh boy.
Well, that's dead in the water. Anyway, number 2, I was not going to give any money to any panhandlers. I'm sorry, I just won't do it. So if your friends are planning to write in and ask me for money,
no.
No. But I will send you an autographed picture of Yvette, very pretty. And then my 3rd was not to have anything to do with Nicodemus. That's not his real name. I said I was going to. But Nicodemus was so negative and so complaining and could be physically threatening and could be whining and sucking my time, my energy. And he's one of those people, once you give him some sort of optimistic solution, oh, that wouldn't work, or I couldn't do that, or yeah, I've tried that, but. And that's one New Year's resolution I have kept. I've not been around Nicodemus. Now, I will have nightmares where I'm in his house and I'm at his dinner table and I go, oh my God, I broke my third commandment. But so far this year, I've stayed away. And that's good because he was not lifting me up. So we do become who our friends are.
That's interesting. Let me take the lead just for a second.
When did I become a beautiful black woman? That's what I want to know. Go ahead.
Let me take the lead for a second because I just want to ask you a question regarding some of your positive thoughts about maturity. We talk about that.
You notice I'm mature, have you?
Well,
yes. I turned 61.
You constantly let it be known.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do admire about you is that you have no hang-ups about age or aging or just being honest about life and where you are. Yeah. Unlike myself.
Right. This segment is brought to you folks by AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons. No, I'm 61. I turned 61 on Easter. And I feel this way, Yvette, thank God for good health. Thank God that, you know, whenever I start getting discouraged, I will look somewhere, there will be a 30-year-old boy, I'll call him a boy, in a wheelchair. You know, or there will be somebody not only in a wheelchair, but with some sort of apparatus, and they're out and about. But God bless them, you know. And when I start saying, oh, I feel so old, you know, the point of it is, I think what really keeps me going and what keeps me happy is this: one day at a time. One day, that's all we have. I don't have tomorrow. And everything that has happened before has made me the person I am today. If we can be happy with where we are at and who we are, that's where a lot of our contentment is going to come from. Somebody handed me a card yesterday, and it says, everything returns to energy. And so all the toys that we fixate on getting and keeping and grabbing and holding on to, it's wonderful to have those toys, but all of it is what's inside of you. I remember when I moved into my first little apartment, I had a friend come over who lived in Palos Verdes. He had a gorgeous mansion. It was his father's mansion. There was not only a swimming pool outside the den, there was a pool, billiard table pool in the den, and he lived in this gorgeous two-story home in Palos Verdes, which for you who don't live in California is a gorgeous seaside community. And he came over to my little hovel of an apartment that had a little bathroom attached, and that was it. And the bed took up most of the apartment, so, you know, you kind of carried on your conversations on the balcony. And he said, how can you live here? How can you live here? It's so tiny. And I was rationalizing. I said, well, it's not tiny, it's familiar. And he says, no, it's tiny. And I said, but it's not tiny, it's intimate. No, it's tiny. And I said, no, it's comfortable. And he kept hitting on tiny. Finally, I just said, you know, I don't live in this apartment. I said, I live in here. And as long as we have all of the apparatus that works, the eyes, the mouth, the brain, you know, and all the innards that we can't see functioning well, I will say this, and I heard this from Dennis Waitley, who's a psychologist. He said, once we've passed the age of 40, every man ought to once a year see a doctor. He says, for everything. He said, get every nook and cranny, you know, examined, probed. Do I do it? No, because none of us wants to have the bad news. But I do go about every 2 years and check in with your doctor. But knock on the proverbial wood.